Hi, I'm Sarah Stevens and I'm the Intensive Agriculture Project Officer with Gulf Savannah NRM. Welcome to Wonderful Worms.
Well, I love my worms. I go down every day and I open the covers and there they are, and I just love seeing them. They're like a pet. Can't talk to you, but they're like a friend, you know. Yeah, I've got a lot of worms. I've got probably 1.5 million worms. I make a compost extract, a worm casting extract, which is a liquid which can be sprayed onto your land. I grow some limes and some cattle, and the paddocks are fertilised with the worm liquid and the castings, as are the limes.
Well, basically we had a whole lot of flying foxes with a whole lot of poo, and we decided we wanted to take responsibility for it rather than take it to the dump or something like that. We generate anything from 10 litres to 30 litres buckets a day of waste. We've got 2 big raised veggie gardens, so we use it with fruit trees and veggie garden. We give it away to volunteers and so on.
Worms stood out as being something that I liked, that not a lot of people were doing, and that I could learn a lot in that process in building fertilisers for my orchard.
Wow, lots of people like worms, eh? That's good to see. I wasn't expecting this at all.
The work in a worm farm can be as much as you want it to be. I've got a commercial system, so I'm doing a fair bit of work. I'm working late at night sometimes, early in the mornings. But it depends on how mechanised you are too. So over the years I've got more mechanised, which makes everything go a bit quicker.
There is a bit to get started, so obviously everyone's got their own schedule that they're used to, so you got to allow some time. Initially it's probably 2 hours a day to start building this up, and then the day to day, it's like 10 minutes. I can go through this, give it a water, check on it, and be out of there. And the feeding, a couple of hours. So and that's once a week. It's good to feed it.
Certainly if somebody wants to start worm farming, they do need to put a lot of attention into it initially, because I think it's going to work differently depending on the microclimate you live in, what you're putting into it, and until you've got your ideal method, you need to put a little bit of time and energy into observing and. But once you've found your recipe, then it's pretty plain sailing.
I recommend for planting, if you've got a veggie farm or a veggie garden, use the castings. Put it in around the roots. That'll stimulate the soil microbes, give it some nutrients, get everything going. And when you're planting trees as well, it's very good to put around the roots. Put a half a kilo around each seedling. When they're actually growing, it's a bit harder. You can spread the castings on the ground, but they dry out and lose a lot of their value. So you probably want to get it in as a liquid. You can make a compost extract, which is a vermicompost extract. Excellent to spray on as a foliar or put around the base of the plant through fertigation or the watering can or whatever.
We do soil tests to see how the soil's improving, and I haven't had the feedback from that yet, so that's to be determined. But at the moment it just feels good to have an organic process. Moisture is definitely the thing, so making sure that you water it and not overwater it so nothing comes out the bottom, and you start to get a feel for it of how much water is needed. Obviously this weather at the moment is a bit more blowy, a bit more wind, so there's a lot more evaporation, so I could come to it 2 times a day in this sort of weather. But during the wet season and that, you almost just let it be. You need to keep too much water off it, so you can't have rain hit it.
It all depends what scale they want to do it at and whether they've got enough in-house waste versus having to go and acquire waste. And one of the things I learnt on the day was that the commercial people don't actually use kitchen waste, and anybody that does should be chopping it up quite small. And of course what we're using with the bats is pre-chewed up stuff mostly, so it's ideal.
Well, these worms eat a lot of dam weed, sugarcane. I actually put mushroom mulch in there as well, and leaf mulch that's been finally grounded up. That's the main feedstock that I use.
Isn't an instant greening like say urea you put on and the next day it's green. This is the whole soil improvement, the biology, everything. You're trying to get your roots growing to their maximum. But my neighbour I've been doing for 10 years. Everything's green where we are. It rains all the time. No one uses much fertiliser at all, but she's been using my worm liquid. And when it dries out for a month or so, everything goes dry. But her property and mine stand out. They're the greenest amongst, and they've still got a green pick while everyone else is brown.
People are looking at me that I can offer something is a great feeling, and yeah, a lot of people are like truly interested to know what I am up to, what they could do, and it was surprised me as well of what I've learnt to offer. That was a good feeling as well. It's like, oh, I've actually got some information that is useful.
So today's workshop was part of a project called Healthy Farming Soils, and as part of the Healthy Farming Soils project we set up a worm farm, a farm scale worm farm at Kevin Azzopardi's farm in Emerald Creek. Kevin has been working very, very hard to keep those worms healthy and happy, and he'll be using the vermicast on his syntropic orchard. The trial has gone very well and Kevin has learned a lot, and today everybody who came along also learned a lot.